Hey there, survivors, how's it going? I'm your host, Douglas here at Dromboy Productions, bringing you another Screaming Ghostface Collector's video. And today we have a continuation, or I guess it's the second part of a video series that is sponsored. And before you click away, these videos are sponsored by someone in the horror community. This is another costume maker. And both of these videos are sponsored by Chase Smith of Little Shop of Horrors. If you guys do not know, Chase Smith is a longtime monster artist and replica creator. He has done replicas for many different franchises, but primarily he is known for his Alien replicas and his Scream stuff. Chase has made tons and tons of really cool Alien replicas, and as far as Scream stuff is concerned, I think he very well may be one of the first, if not the first person, that was offering high-end replica robes. I can say for certain that the very first sparkle robe that I ever saw was someone that was in a cosplay group local to me that had gotten one at Texas Frightmare Weekend directly from Chase. And that's how I found out about Chase. After that, I looked him up, reached out to him, and Chase is actually the person that sold me my very first tagged Fantastic Faces, which was an orange mask. It was not a ghost face, but I did also get an orange Gen 1 ghost face from him at the same time, and it was an extremely beautiful, vibrant mask, and I still have it. Chase has been offering these robes for quite a while, and many years ago, he actually did do a limited edition version of one of his earlier robes that was signed on the inside. There was a tag on the inside where there would be a standard t-shirt tag that was signed by both Billy and Stu, Matthew and Skeet. So Chase was selling robes, he had versions that were signed by the actors. He also did have an incredible collection of Fantastic Faces, Gen 1s, Gen 2s, tagged masks. It was insane. There's a really, really cool photo. If I can find it, I'll throw it in here, of, I believe it was a Texas Frightmare Weekend, one of his booths just decked out in so many awesome Ghostface goodies. Well, for years, Chase has continued to make Alien replicas, and he's done replicas of some other stuff, but recently he has finally returned to Scream, offering these high-end knives and now robes again. And that's exactly what we're going to be taking a look at today, because Chase has sent me one of his 1996 Scream Ghostface Killer Sparkle robes. I'll go ahead and start with my own assessment of the robe, and then I'll give you guys the information that Chase gave me. So as far as weight, this is actually a pretty decently lightweight fabric. I would say it's not quite as heavy as Scream robes. I know that the weight, like saying this doesn't do a whole lot for any of you who haven't handled these in person, but for those of you who have, you'll know what I mean. But this is a little bit lighter. I would say that the fabric itself is a little bit smoother even, a slightly less texture to it. The sparkle is really, really nice on it. It really catches the light well. And then moving down the sleeve here, we have the hands. The actual construction of the hands looks nice. No massive thumb, no weirdly shaped fingers. Everything seems to look well, and I have already tried this on and it does fit well as well. Looking at the sleeve here, you can see the drapery on the arms, kind of squared off there at the bottom. And then of course, the largest one is towards the inner part, closest to the armpit, and gets smaller going outwards. The hood itself does have a stiffener in it, but it's not like super stiff. It feels like it will hold shape well, but also be decently flexible. So I guess that could be positive or negative, just depending, but still feels really nice. He does still actually do the tags on the inside. I had not noticed this. It says Deluxe Father Death Replica Robe as seen in Scream, 100% handmade and Little Shop of Horrors. Of course, you have the drawstring here in the front where you can tie it around your neck. There is a little bit of a slit going right down here, which is normal for these robes. And really the last thing we got to take a look at is the bottom. As you can tell, it is cut very small. These are not even and symmetrical, which is pretty accurate to the Scream 1 robes. As far as the quality of the fabric, it feels really nice. The stitching seems to also be done very well, so no complaints there. I'm not noticing any fraying or loose threads or anything like that, so it seems like it's holding up pretty well. There is one detail that I almost forgot to mention, and it's on the gloves here. This is a great quality of life thing to have if you're wearing Ghostface robes. As many of you know, it can become very hot very quick in these, and also sometimes you might want to access your phone and the fabric doesn't always work the best with the screens. So there actually is access here to have your hand come out of the bottom, basically. So typically, if you were to hold your arm out, your hand would come out of where the wrist is, so the glove would kind of be on the back of your hand. With this, it's coming out of the bottom, so the glove would kind of rest on top of your hand. A little bit different placement, but there are snaps there as well, so you can snap that shut and you don't have to worry about it coming like pulled open at some point in video or photos. So outside of putting it on and showing you guys what it looks like, I think that about does it, and I might go ahead and put it on after I read this. So just a little bit of info about the robes. Chase wanted me to remind you all, these are 100% handmade. These are not made in a factory. He doesn't have a whole bunch of people who are pumping these out. And that is just an important thing to note with most things that you're buying from artists. A lot of you want this stuff to just be purchased for and done immediately and right to your front door, and that would be wonderful. As a collector, I too would love that to happen. There's no wait time, whatever. But at the same time, you have to understand most of these things that are being created are being made by one person. He has noted a screen-accurate robe design, screen-accurate drawstring, screen-accurate hood lining per robe style, lightweight, real handmade gloves, not floppy costume gloves that are, you know, attached to the robe. So basically it's just 100% handmade. It says the material was chosen with your input. That's talking about me. He did send me several different fabric swatches of what it was that he was looking at to use for these, and I chose the one that I thought was the closest out of what he had there. And of course, these aren't going to be like exactly screen accurate fabric, like that's with pretty much any robe replicas. He actually noted, did you see the hand access on the robe? It's a nice little touch that's pretty inconspicuous, has snaps to be seamless without just being open and possibly seeing your arms or different colored shirt underneath. And it'll be something that's very useful, which I would also agree with. He also did note that the slit in the wrist for the hand access is completely optional. You don't have to do that, though I would recommend it for quality of life purposes. He also says for the hood, I didn't use foam for the Scream 1 hood. Since they didn't use foam in the movie, I used a thick interfacing closer to buckram, which is what they used in the movie, that can be formed to basically however the user wants. So I haven't toyed around with that a whole lot to, I guess, try to make it wider or really try to shape it in any particular way. I've actually only worn this once, the first time I shot this video, but the camera corrupted it, and the second time was for the Spirit Halloween video. But I can say, during that time period, it was a very comfortable robe. I had no problems wearing it. It felt nice, and I feel like in the video it seemed to look pretty good. And he also did include a care sheet for the robe as well. It says, if the streamers ever get wrinkled, use an iron with steam to flatten them out. Alternatively, a handheld clothing steamer will work as well. If the hood ever gets a crease in it, or you would like to reshape the hood, just iron it with steam to flatten out the hood insert. Hand wash or dry clean only. Do not throw this in a washing machine. Do not store the robe on a hanger as it may lead to stretching of the fabric due to its weight. Robe should be folded neatly or displayed on a mannequin for proper storage. If you need to hang it, use a pants hanger to fold the robe over the hanger. Now look, I know not everybody has the room or the access to a mannequin, but personally, I mean, come on, you gotta have a life-size Ghostface in your house. If you've got the robe and you've got the mask already, be careful not to snag the robe on anything. I feel like that goes without saying. The fabric can be ripped easily, just like, you know, your pants, shirt, etc. And if the robe has a Velcro strip, be careful not to snag the gloves on the rough Velcro. That is also very important. Of course, Scream 1 style is not going to have Velcro, but if you get another style from him, it very well could. So when you go to close up that front seam there, obviously, if you have the slits for the wrists, just pop your hand out and do it. Don't get the gloves all caught up in the Velcro. But at the same time, if you don't have that option, I would suggest maybe even trying to get someone else to close it up for you rather than risk it. Just me, I have tried it before, and unfortunately, you're probably going to get it stuck on that rough Velcro if you give it a shot. All right, here you go. Had to throw it on for you guys real quick. Give you a spin just to get a decent look at it. I haven't really adjusted the hood, looked in a mirror or anything else, so I have no clue how it's looking right now, but hopefully pretty nice. Overall, it feels very comfortable. It's nowhere near as heavy as most other robes, and I think this would be pretty comfortable to wear long-term at conventions or if you're working a haunted attraction. Just to give you all a good look at the gloves as well, they fit perfectly. No weird shapes on the hands. Everything else feels great. One other detail I noticed that is definitely worth mentioning is there is no Velcro placement already in the hood. A lot of people will add Velcro to whatever mask they intend to wear with their robe so that the hood will stay in place properly. And of course, there has to be another piece of Velcro on the actual inside of the hood itself. This does not already have that. If you want it, I suppose that you can suggest it, or request it, I should say, from Chase, and I'm sure he would do that for you, but at least on the copy I have, as it was sent to me, it does not have that feature. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and move along to a mask. And this will transition well into the next point we have to make. All right, the camera overheated. I had to give it a little while to cool down. I think I was at the point of mentioning this. The last item is, you guessed it, a mask. Here we have a Gen 2 cotton shroud. However, this is no ordinary store-bought Gen 2 cotton shroud. This is in fact a modified Scream Stalker Gen 2. So this would have been one of the masks that came in the Scream Stalker costumes that had a bib with the elastic around the head. I do believe he took the cotton shroud off of another original Fun World Fantastic Faces mask and added it to this one, but it is worthy to note to you all watching, this is not a standard store-bought stock mask. One of the easiest ways to notice that one of these masks has been reshrouded, other than the obviously not machine stitching on it, is if you see these holes on either side of the face. That was punched out to put an elastic strap through, so if you see that, you have a modified Stalker mask, not an original Gen 2. I'm only mentioning that because I have seen an increase of people buying the Stalkers and adding shrouds to them and trying to pass them off as original masks. In the last video, we took a look at the awesome Buck 120 knife replica by Little Shop of Horrors. Today we took a look at his Scream Robe replica, and he sent me a mask. Now, if you put these all together, you have a full Ghostface costume. And if any of you out there are looking for a full Ghostface costume, here is your opportunity. Because Little Shop of Horrors is going to be doing a sweepstakes that you can enter in and have the opportunity to win a full robe, knife, and mask. This is the exact mask. You will have your own knife, not the one I've shown you, and of course a custom tailored robe, not the one that was sent to me. I'll be releasing a separate video soon, kind of giving you guys all the details and a quick rundown on that, of course showing you the full costume together, stuff like that. But yeah, keep an eye peeled for that if you are interested. If not, then I guess don't worry about it. If you want to just go ahead and buy one so you're guaranteed to have one of these robes, you can obtain them directly from Chase. He is currently doing these sweepstakes and also selling these robes and knives to help fund a new roof for his shop. He's had some unfortunate damages, so if you're interested in helping him out, or if you just want to have the chance to, of course, win these awesome items, keep your eyes peeled for that sweepstakes. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you have an incredible day. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.